afternoon, fellow Rotarians and honored guests. It gives me great pleasure to bring today's program to you. Please join me in welcoming the Pensacola Museum of Art. Today's speakers are Jodi Gup, Executive Director, and our own Betty Roberts, Board President. Both Betty and Jodi are members of Rotary in Pensacola. Betty grew up in Pensacola attending local schools, Pensacola High School, Pensacola State College, and the University of West Florida. Betty is presently employed by One Blood Incorporated as Media and Public Relations Manager. I'm sure you have seen her on TV. Betty manages the Blood Banking Public Relations Program and Media for Pensacola, Fort Walton, Crestview, Panama City, Tallahassee, and South Georgia. She's a busy lady. Other positions have included International Paper, SciTech Industries, Maryland State Teachers Association, and she also served as an associate professor at Pensacola Junior College. Betty is involved in the arts and culture in Pensacola as a member of the PMA, Pensacola Symphony, and Pensacola Opera. Jodi Gup is our Executive Director of the Pensacola Museum of Art. She grew up in Pensacola, graduating from Washington High School in 1986. She has a BA in American Studies from Tulane University, an MED in Early Childhood Education, and a Master's in Human Resource Development from Georgia State University. After spending most of her career building fundraising programs in higher education at Emory University and George Washington University, she moved back to Pensacola to rear her 2-year-old daughter, Diane Alexandra. Welcome home, and please join me in welcoming our first speaker, Jodi Gup.
How are y'all today? Good. It's wonderful to be here. I see a lot of familiar faces, so please be kind. Y'all can tell me how I did after, please. If you can't hear me, let me know. I know the microphone can be finicky, so just shout or raise your hand and I'll try and pay attention, but let me know if I'm being too loud or too soft or if you have any questions. I'm thrilled to talk about the Pensacola Museum of Art. It's hard to believe, and we have a PowerPoint up here, so you may want to look at the PowerPoint. It's prettier than I am. 60 years and counting. Unlocking inspiration, unleashing creativity. Basically, our mission is simple. Bring in great exhibitions, grow our permanent collection, and provide quality educational programs for all ages. Our organization, we are a true nonprofit. For those of you who work in the nonprofit, you'll understand what I mean. We're governed by a board of governors, and I'm fortunate to say that we have a wonderful president in Betty Roberts, another executive committee member, Sandra, and Sue Cheryl, whose husband's here today, is also on our board of governors, as well as Judy Tice, who is president of our guild. The Guild is approximately 100 individuals who volunteer many hours to do a lot of fundraising for the museum. And then lastly, we have a very small staff. There are 5 of us who wear many hats. You have myself, the Director of Curatorial Affairs, Director of Communications, Director of Finance, Director of Education, and on any given day we follow the mantra of other duties as assigned, because in a small nonprofit you wear many hats, and things that you didn't expect would be in your job description end up being in there. We also have a core group of volunteers and interns who represent both PSC and UWF, and we're thrilled to partner with them. Very proud of our educational programs. We teach a lot of classes. At the moment, we're geared mostly toward the younger ages. Studio Kids Club, After School Art Club, Art Academy for Autism, Next Generation, and then Preschool Kids Art Camp. Right now we are in a full week of spring camp for parents who are currently on spring break, and we have a handful of children running through our museum, learning about the museum as well as just an appreciation for the arts in general. We're planning also for our summer camps. During the summer, we're going to be doing week-long camps, part days in the mornings and in the afternoons. All of our camps are, even though they have a certain focus, we make sure that what's taught in our, for lack of a better word, our art classroom is what is integrated with what's happening in our exhibitions. We want to make sure that the art that is being taught at the museum goes back to exhibitions. We want to make sure that our classes stand alone so that it's something that you can only see at the museum. And here are some of our kids in the hallways and taking classes. And then we also have a very strong partnership with the Escambia County school system. For 60 years now, we have partnered with the school system to have an exhibition every January of public school art from K through 12th grade, as well as art educators. This year, we had over 1,500 students come through our museum to not only enjoy their own artwork, but their friends, their peers, as well as get a glimpse of what an accredited museum looks like. We had a lovely exhibition of our permanent collection downstairs simultaneous to this. We have a video of it. Unfortunately, due to Wi-Fi, I can't show it, but if you go to our website, which is PensacolaMuseum.org, you'll get a glimpse of what happened during Youth Art Focus. It's a great partnership. We've done it for 60 years, and we look forward to continuing in the future. Beyond what happens in the classroom, we also have other partnerships outside. We partner very strongly with Autism Pensacola and Capstone Academy, in which we teach an art class for children on the autism spectrum. We also teach a class at Page Center for girls. West Point, we are looking at those in assisted living homes and what can we do, either bringing them into the museum or teaching art classes in their own facilities. We also host a foster kids summer camp. And lastly, for the first time this year, and some of you may have attended, during the month of December, during Winterfest, we hosted Train Fest, where we partnered with one of the train clubs, and we had an exciting 5 days of trains in the museum. Because of that event, we brought in over 1,000 kids of all ages to look at the trains, as well as look at the exhibition on the walls. That was at the same time as our exhibition Design of War, which was posters of World War I and World War II. And it was very interesting to bring people in both for the trains and for that exhibition and seeing the crossover. This is a schedule of our exhibition, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's coming up. But you do have a collateral on your table of what is happening at the museum. I hope y'all will take those home with you to see some of our great exhibitions. This is our 60th year anniversary, and we hope that you'll come and celebrate with us. Right now, we have an exhibition of a local collector called Figures to Furs. It's a beautiful collection, and it signifies what makes someone collect art and what is passionate in the eyes of this one individual. It's beautifully done, and we hope that you'll come and see us, and it's up until April 5th. Following that is Sacred Landscapes, the photography of Kevin Boldenau. Mr. Boldenau, through his photography, wants us, the viewers, to recognize the vitality, the beauty, and the necessity of nature, especially at this time, and being from the Gulf Coast where we've seen some of the things that can happen to our own beaches. It's beautiful, it's black and white photography, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I think what everyone is looking most forward to, though, is Legos. Have y'all heard about Art of the Brick yet? Some of you have? Well, whether you are 2 years old or 90 years old, I think you're going to enjoy this. Art of the Brick is coming May 3rd through August 8th. The artist's name is Nathan Sawaya. Believe it or not, he's a former corporate attorney, He left his job to become an artist. The form that his choice is Legos. He's the only person to be considered or recognized by the Lego Group, which is the parent company of Legos, as both a Lego Master Builder, yes, there is a title, and Lego Certified Professional. I would love my business card to say that. I'm sure what y'all are thinking is what a great job this man has, building with Legos all day. But he takes it very seriously. He has 2 studios, one in LA, one in New York City. This exhibition, which has been rated by CNN as one of the top 12 must-see exhibitions internationally, will be coming here. It has never been in this region of the country, and the Pensacola Museum is hosting it. So we hope to see y'all there. Following that, we have another exhibition, totally different from Art of the Brick, and this one is Guild Hall, an Adventure in the Arts. This one is an exhibition that covers what I consider the modern masters. Andy Warhol, Jackson Pollock, Roy Lichtenstein, Chuck Close, and the list goes on. It features paintings, sculptures, and works, all on paper and by significant artists who lived in and around the Hamptons in New York. For those of you who may not know, but the Hamptons in Long Island was an artist colony back in the 1950s. And Guild Hall has, I think, approximately 4,000 pieces in their permanent collection, and this is what is coming to us in August through October. Simultaneous to this, we are hosting Sweet Soiree, which is our annual fundraiser, at that time. So stay tuned for that event as well. The art of walls will be beautiful, and the event also will be exceptional. We're going to end 2014, our 60th anniversary, with Terra Incognita by Richard Sexton. This one we are showcasing, an artist who lives not far from here. Richard Sexton resides in New Orleans and has spent the past 15 years taking photos of the Gulf Coast. It's a beautiful exhibition, why I believe we all chose to live here. During this time, the Pensacola Museum of Art will also host its 2nd annual Train Fest. Last year, again, we brought in over 1,000 individuals, and we hope this year we will have more trains and more individuals, kids, you name it, running through our museum. It was just a lot of fun. I also want to share with you a little bit about our permanent collection, because for any museum, it's really about the permanent collection. We have over 400 accession pieces of art, and you grow it in different ways. One is we have what we call the Blue Book Fund, where an individual can make a gift to the Blue Book Fund. The committee goes out and purchases artwork, so that's one way to grow it. In the past year, we have bought our first piece of art in years by Ellsworth Kelly, who is recognized as one of the top 6 living artists of our time. It's a lithograph, and it's hanging on our walls, so please, again, come and see that as well. And then the other way that we grow our permanent collection is when people make a gift. They donate their own art. It's not quite as simple as just showing up with a piece of artwork. You never know what you end up with. But you have a collections committee, and they follow the standards of the Association of American Museums. We want to make sure that it fits into our own parameters, which is we focus on 20th and 21st century art. We also want to make sure that the art is legitimate, meaning that you actually own that piece of artwork. It didn't come from another source. I'm sure many of you have followed the international news of the German art collector who has had more than 1,000 pieces of artwork since World War II in his closet. So those are things that museums have to go through, making sure that it's not just do we enjoy the artwork and do we like the artwork, but is it also, from a legality standpoint, something that we can take on? And then do we have room to store it and to showcase it in its own right? And here's a few of the ones that we do have in our permanent collection. We do have a Picasso, an Alexander Calder, and the list goes on. For those of you who don't know, we also have facility rentals. We are a great place for events, So if you're ever interested in hosting a reception, a wedding, baby shower, a work event, please do consider the Pensacola Museum of Art, which gets us to why and where we're headed. I put the new Pensacola Museum of Art because if it's been a while since you've been there, even just 8 months, you'd be very surprised. We have new floors and a new HVAC system thanks to Impact 100. And why that's important is not only the aesthetic view, but from the HVAC system, we are now able to bring in exhibitions that we couldn't before. Because when you bring in an art exhibition, you have to make sure that you have control of the humidity. You can't just set the air conditioning on 65 or 70 and hope everything works well. So now we have an HVAC system where we can put controls in every single gallery so that we are stewarding the artwork the way it should be. We also have a new sign outside. If you're driving down Main Street, you'll see it. We have a new parking lot. We have exterior lighting that just went up last week. And we also have painted our exterior and interior. So I think from a visitor standpoint, you will truly see a difference and you will enjoy the ambiance of being in the museum. And where we're headed, I think we're just at the cusp of where the Pensacola Museum of Art is headed, but it all depends on the community and your involvement. So how you can get involved is join us, be a member, make a gift, consider corporate sponsorships, purchase tickets to come to our events, and of course volunteer. We need lots of volunteers, especially coming up. It's everything from doing a lecture, sitting at the front desk, helping us with admissions. The list goes on and on. But we are always eager to have volunteers to make sure that we are running efficiently and making sure that the visitor experience is optimal. With that, Betty or Sandra, do y'all have anything you'd like to add?
As you can see from what Jodi said, you know I'm tremendously excited. I really think, and since I was a little girl, every time I went to a city in the United States, abroad, whatever, I first look at what's happening in the city and what's at the museum. And then what's there. What's the special thing you want to see? And I always go. And my dream is to have the same thing here. So when visitors come to Pensacola, they look at what's going on around town, they look at the Pensacola Museum of Art, and we have that special something going on. And we have a lot of new board members that are young professionals. We did a little talk not too long ago and said, well, why are you a member? And many of them said, well, when I was a little boy or a little girl, my mother took me to the museum. And I want the same thing for my family. And when you've got a group like that, you know we have passion, we have enthusiasm. And we're looking forward to the Legos exhibit. Go online and just check it out. It's going to be fabulous. And to have it here in the South, we've been asked, how in the world did Pensacola get this? Well, we worked hard to get it, and we've got it coming. We will be marketing this New Orleans, Birmingham, Atlanta. We want it to be a tourist venue. You can go to the beach, but come downtown because we know we've got a lot happening. And with that, we may need some volunteers, and we are going to ask the Rotaries that those of you that like museums, and if you don't like them, learn too, because you'll really appreciate it. Promise. I can talk you into anything, can't I? But anyway, I really feel good about this. But we will need some people to meet and greet, maybe Saturdays and Sundays. We're going to try to open this up. The museum, if you look at this on the internet, there's a museum that's just hosting this in North Carolina, and they've had as many as 35,000 visitors. And so we anticipate, if we're marketing this all over, some special place to come, that we'll have a lot of people, so that way you can come see it. And if you can think about it, I wasn't one that played with Legos, but I do know about them. But here's a guy who's taken 20 to 30,000 Legos and sculpted these marvelous statues and all sorts of things. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And I'd like to say also that John Tice, with his architectural group, has kind of a challenge. They're going to build something out of Legos, and I know if we don't do anything else, we want to see what comes out of this competition of what our local people can do. So as Jodi said, I invite you to be ready May 3rd through August the 8th. It's going to be a marvelous exhibit. And as Jodi also said, take a look at the museum. We ride by it at 100 miles an hour every day. We've got new things happening there. It's so pretty with the new floor that's gone in that Impact has given. And I certainly welcome you to join us and make this another special gem for downtown.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I know that appealed to all of your hearts. If you don't think about yourself, think about your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, and let us have a legacy of our museum in Pensacola. And thank you for being our honored guest.
Anybody have any questions out there before we wrap up? Jerry.
I know how to contribute, but can you co-sponsor an exhibit?
Yes.
The question was, can you co-sponsor an exhibit?
Thank you for that question, Jerry. Just to give you a little bit of background on the cost involved in us bringing exhibits of this type to Pensacola, blockbuster exhibitions can cost up to, on average, $50,000. So it's not, so fundraising is obviously a part of that. And we are always looking for corporations or individuals to sponsor exhibitions, whether they can do it individually, whether we get a bunch of people and do it together. I have packets at my office, and if anyone is interested in, I'm more than glad to give more information. However, there are many opportunities for sponsoring. And just to let you know, with Lego, I want to make sure that I thank and show my gratitude. Bank of America, Merrill Lynch are our premier sponsors for that.
Anybody else?
In your schedule of events, you left out Art in the Park. Are you going to have it this year?
Thank you. Yes, it is May 17th and 18th, or 18th and 19th. It's that Saturday and Sunday of that weekend. It's going to be in Seville Square, and we have more artists this year than we've had in the past. And we're working with the local high schools and musical clubs to bring in some good jazz bands. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you go to Art in the Park, then drop by at the same time and make a whole day of being downtown and come to the museum as well.